it's Kim from Kim Dixon Creative. I'm so happy that you stopped by today. Today I'm bringing you a super cute little monster. I didn't have a real direction when I started this card. I just knew that I wanted to use the TLC Designs soft blush digital papers, and I wanted to use the card sketch for the Sketch Easy Challenge number 102. However, this little monster just stole my heart. One-eyed Harry. What's not to love, right? Well, here's what I came up with, and I think he's super cute, and he's ready to party, and I know the exact little monster to give this card to. I started out by printing Harry out onto a piece of Express It paper blending card, and I'm coloring him in with my Nuvo markers. And I will have a list of the color combinations that I used down in the description box. And never mind that balloon over there to the left of Harry. I decided not to use the balloon. I think my card had enough going on it without the balloon, and so I didn't color the balloon rather. But I'm using a combination of yellows, oranges, greens, and pinks on Harry. And my greens are kind of they're called the Emerald Seas combination, but they're almost an aqua kind of color, not quite, but pretty close. And I just went through and like I normally do when I color in my lightest color first, laying down a base of color, go in with my darkest shade in the shadows, blend out with my medium tone, and then blend all of that together with my lightest shade again. And that's the way I do it. A lot of people color a lot of different ways, and there's a lot of theories out there on how you should color. And I'm certainly not an expert. This is just what works for me. And that's what you should do. You should do what works for you and what feels comfortable to you. While I'm finishing up the coloring on Harry, I'll tell you a little bit more about the Sketch Easy Challenge. We're on Easy Sketch Challenge number 102. There's no purchase necessary to enter the challenge. However, to win, you must use a TLC Designs product. One random winner using the TLC Designs products of any kind will receive a digital stamp of their choice from the TLC Designs shop. One grand prize winner will receive a digital stamp and a $10 discount code to the store. To win the grand prize, you must purchase the corresponding bundle from the TLC Designs shop. There's a link to the Facebook group TLC Designs Creative Sharing in the description box, which will describe and explain the sketch challenge a little better, and a link to the Sketch Easy bundle number 102 in the TLC Designs shop. Y'all, this bundle is only $5. I just said $5. And you get digital papers, you get digital sentiments, and you get digital illustrations to use for $5. Plus, you get the chance to win a digital stamp set of your choice and possibly even a $10 discount code to the store. And there are some really great products over in the store. There's some great digital products. There's papers and illustrations. There's also great physical dyes and photopolymer stamps in the store. It's great over there. All right, now that I have Harry all colored up, I've got my pink cardstock that I've cut to 4 1/4 by 11. I'm going to score it at 5 1/2. This is going to make a top folding A2 size card. I like to use top folding cards when I can, simply because they're different. When I go to the store to buy a card, it's typically opens, right to left. And this, I want people to know that I'm giving them a handmade card. I want them to know that I made this with them in mind. So now I'm going to pull out my paper trimmer and I'm going to start trimming down the papers that I printed out from the Soft Blush digital paper pack. Y'all, this paper pack is beautiful. I mean, I feel guilty putting a monster on the front of him, but it's just, I just had to. I needed pink. But this paper really is beautiful. You should check it out. It's called the Soft Blush Paper Pack. Now that first piece you saw me cut is a light pink. I'm calling it a solid. It's not really solid. It's got some very faint tone-on-tone printing on it. But I cut it at 4 by 5 1/4. Then the striped paper that I just cut is cut 2 3/4 by 5. And this dark pink paper is also a tone-on-tone print, although I'm calling it a solid. I'm cutting it down to 1 inch by 5 inches. And I've just turned it over so that I know that I've got a straight edge on that end, and I just turned it over. So I'm going to cut it down to, again, to 1 inch by 5 inches. I had never used a lot of digital paper until just recently, and I'm really enjoying it. It's actually a lot of fun to be able to find the paper you want and immediately have it, you know. Now this is just the little strip of the striped paper. I actually put it on a diagonal and cut out that little strip using the TLC Designs ribbon dies. That ends up actually being adhered over that seam. It has a little icon, little image there in the middle, but we're going to cover that up. Okay, so now I'm going to start adhering some of my pieces down to my cardstock. I'm going to take some wet glue and adhere that light pink piece that we cut down to 4 by 5 1/4. We're going to adhere it down to the front of our card base. This is going to give us roughly 1/8 of an inch border all around. I say roughly because sometimes I get it even, sometimes I get it a little off. So sometimes there's a little more than 1/8 of an inch in some areas. You also see me turning that paper around. You know, I said it was solid, but it does have some tone-on-tone printing on it, and there are words, very faint words. And I was trying to see if there was an up or a down side. I think I got it right. I'm not sure. My old eyes can't really tell. And the little monster I'm going to give this to can't read yet, so she won't know. I have a 4-year-old granddaughter that will love Harry. Now I'm taking the striped piece that we cut to 2 3/4 by 5 and adhering it to the left side of the card base. Again, leaving another 1/8 of an inch border on the top, the left side, and the bottom. And then we're going to take the dark pink piece that we cut 1 inch by 5 inches and glue it to the right side. This should leave an 1/8 of an inch border on the top, right, and bottom of that piece of paper. Now we're going to take our little ribbon piece and we're going to adhere it down over the seam where those two pieces of paper meet. And it should go the length of your A2 size card. Trying to get that glue right in the right places on that piece of cardstock because it's really very narrow, but it's very dainty and pretty as well. One thing I have found, at least on my printer, you have to give your glue a little more time to adhere. It doesn't, it's a slicker surface, so it's a little easier for things to move. Now I have cut 2 die cuts, one rectangle that is cut to be 3 inches by 4 inches, and then another that is cut 2.5 by 3.5. And we're adhering those to the center of the card. That's going to be where our focal image sits. I just used a rectangle die from my stash. However, I can tell you there's a great set at the shop at TLC Designs. It's called the Celebrate Frame Die. That would be great for this. Now, because it is one of my cards, I am putting foam tape on something. And I thought Harry needed to be popped up a little bit. So I covered the back of him with some foam tape and then used some wet glue to give me a little time to move him around and make sure I have him in the right spot. And I think he looks so cute on the front of this card. He is just too stinking cute. Ellie girl is going to love this thing. So I also cut 3 little pieces in that Celebrate ribbon die set. There is a tiny cake and a tiny ice cream cone. And I cut out 3 of the tiny cakes out of the lightest, it's almost a cream or a white paper from that paper pack. I cut out 3 of them, and I'm just going to kind of adhere those onto the left side of the card. And again, you see me kind of taking more time to hold that down with the glue. It does take a little more time, so you have to be a little careful. And I'm using my reverse tweezers to hold it while I get the glue on the back, because my fingers are too stiff and too big. I would just fumble it and drop it. So I use those reverse tweezers as kind of a extra pair of fingers, or better fingers. Not butterfingers, but better fingers. So I'm getting those little cakes glued down there. And that's pretty much our card. I didn't put any sparkly on it. I actually did, and I didn't show it in the video. I did take a little bit of Wink of Stella and put on Harry's wings. Where I colored his wings, I only used a little bit of pink and then blended it out with a blender pen. And just to give it a hint of pink, I didn't want a whole lot of color in the wings. And then I took that clear Wink of Stella and put on the wings of my little monster. And I think he turned out so cute. Thank you so much for stopping by. I think this card would be perfect for a little girl birthday card, or even an adult female birthday card. I mean, heck, I'd love to get a cute card like this. Don't forget the Easy Sketch Challenge number 102. I've linked the Facebook group down in the description box below so that you can go over and learn more about it. And also dropped a link to the bundle that's in the shop. The $5 bundle, don't forget, $5. But there's a link to all of that in the description box below. The Sketch Easy Challenge number 102 started on September 1st, and it runs for 30 days. Thanks again for joining me today. If this video brought value to you or inspired you in some way, think about giving it a thumbs up and sharing it with your friends on social media. Until next time, stay safe, stay well, and stay creative.